Welcome to another week of A Friendly Nudge. So this week we're going to make a mango chutney. And I've never made this one before, and I actually got the idea out of America's Test Kitchen Just Add Sauce cookbook. And this is a perfect play with your food thing because I screwed up the recipe, but it actually turned out okay. I'm going to give you the correct amount to use, but I'm going to show you through the process of this, kind of how I unwittingly made kind of a mid-course correction on it. So I'm using mango, shallots, cilantro, ginger, white wine vinegar, and I'm using apricot preserves instead of peach preserves because I didn't have any peach preserves. And I'm going to use avocado oil. So I'm going to peel the mango and I'm going to get it all chopped up, and you'll kind of see what that finished product is. And this is a double batch because I wanted to have more of this. So, I'm using 4 mangoes. Their original thing was call for 2. And I'm just going to chop these up into kind of small pieces. Once again, not a whole lot of precision here. And then, I'm going to get all those into a bowl because we're going to cook this. And I've never cooked any kind of a chutney before. I've always done the raw ones. So, and I'm going to put 2 shallots in it. And I'm going to chop those up. I'm going to slice them real fine and then chop them. And, you see people do it where they'll cut it kind of all in place. That probably works. I just like to get them where that I slice them thin. But that's what I ended up with. That's 2 shallots worth. And then, this is going to be a pretty good chunk of ginger. That's a little more than a thumb's worth. So just going to get that cut real thin, and then I'll chop it. And, I'll show you here in just a second kind of how much it made. Yeah, that's a pretty good pile of ginger. And here's where the screw up comes in. So this thing should have been 2/3 of a cup. I ended up using a full cup. So if you're going to replicate this, I would suggest starting with 2/3 of a cup of vinegar. And then it's 1 cup of the preserves. And I'm using the just fruit preserves because I didn't want a bunch of extra sugar. And I'm putting, a pretty good glug of avocado oil. I'll usually use avocado oil if I want a neutral flavored oil. And then you just put the mangoes in and cook them for a while. You cook them for about 5 minutes. You're really not going to actually I don't know that they'll brown, but, they start releasing some of their liquid. And then once I've kind of gotten those, then I'm going to add the shallots in, and then I'll add the ginger in. And I'm going to cook this for a couple of minutes. You want to get kind of that the fragrant smell. And, all of this stuff smells delicious. Now I'm adding the preserves. And, and then I'm adding the vinegar. And I thought when I added it, I was like, man, this thing is, there's a lot of liquid in here. And, anytime you cook vinegar, you really get a strong smell from it. So the course correction was I just cooked it longer. Right? So they said, you're going to cook it for about 5 minutes. Mine was probably closer to 10. But as you cook vinegar, you cook off some of that volatility, some of the kind of the astringentness of it. Then you're going to let it cool for probably a couple of hours because you don't want to add cilantro to a hot mixture. You're going to get kind of a wilting of the cilantro. So I just added the cilantro in. And you could add jalapenos. There's all kinds of variations you can do with this. But this stuff is absolutely delicious. I'm going to put it on a shrimp dish tonight. So anyway, by all means, please play with your food. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week.